Hey man, I cannot take away any time from this Z6 III Preview video. It's all hands on deck for this one. I've only got a few days to edit it and put it together. It's a monster. It's almost 25 minutes long right now. You're going to have to fly solo on this one, and I'll be back next week.
Oh, Steven, where are you? Steven, where art thou? As you guys heard from the voice message that Steven left me again this week, he is focused on the Nikon Z6 III real-world preview that is coming out on June 17th. Most of you know that Nikon announced the Z6 III in a teaser video, and they told you absolutely nothing. I did get to use it. Steven got to use it, and we're not allowed to tell you anything about it. I will finish the show talking about something with the Z6 III, and that's not just to get you to stick around till the end. It was just that I didn't, I need to tell you why Steven isn't here right now, and that's because he has to focus on making that video. There's been a lot for Steven to focus on. We had to do the Insta360 Go 3S product showcase. That's where they sponsor the video. That's why we do not call those reviews. I've said that a million times, that a product showcase is a product showcase where I'm showing you what the product is capable of, and then you can make your mind up on whether or not you should buy it. I don't specifically go in there and say, this is a must-have, because that's cheating. We leave that to other websites like and YouTubers like iJustine, who will take money for everything and tell you it's amazing, including that AI assistant that everybody panned, but for some reason she said was amazing. So let me give you a little insight into the decisions behind product showcases. Insta360 has been great. They came along at a time where action cams have definitely floundered, and their job is to get eyeballs on their product. And if their product is on par, or in some cases better than other products, the whole way that they're using to get their information out there is they are paying creators to do product showcases like what we do, and that way they get vision, and they get people to think about their products and see them in action, and then have something else to think about. It's kind of like, payola. I liked payola when it came to music. I thought that, I don't like the pay to play where like another product or band couldn't get played, but I looked at it as like advertising, except for the fact I remember a story my buddy told me where he said there was a guy who would drop off $1,000 in a brown paper bag to the director, the radio director, every time they added a specific song into rotation. Now the guy's job, the management company, they would pay these people. They would pay them off to add the song into rotation. You're talking about probably the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. I don't know that it happened into the 2000s, but if they added it to 200 stations, they just spent $200,000 getting the song on the radio. But if you got the song on the radio and it became a hit, you would sell 1 billion albums back then, because it was just a different world. So they would literally drop $1,000 off to program directors every time they added it, and it was $1,000 in a brown paper bag. Like, I'm sure that stuff happened time and time again. Case in point, there was a song, Closing Time, Semisonic, which is a great song. Remember when that got played? If you're old enough to remember that thing got played non-stop during the late 90s. Well, it was payola. I believe they said they spent about $400,000 to get it on the radio, and they were selling out stadiums based off of that song. So they made so much money off of it. Whether that's good or bad, whatever. Back to the Insta360 thing is they'll do a product showcase. We get paid to do that, and that helps us to continue to do everything else that we do. It's sponsored, and we don't hide it. Other people will hide it. We're not going to hide it. But like I said, we're not going to tell you that you should buy it. And if it was a bad product, we wouldn't do it. There's times where I get offered to do product reads or photo news fix plugs for stuff that I'm like, no. Like Hims. Hims came to me. They're the, get your hair grown back or something for bald people or whatever it was called. And I'm like, guys, have you seen my hair? And I get it. I have a predominantly male audience, but what I don't like about them is they don't I don't want to do anything that involves medicine or medication. I just don't want to push that. I won't push gambling. I won't push alcohol. I won't push energy drinks. Like, I would never do that. That's just not my style. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Steven has a lot to edit. He had to finish up the Insta360 Go 3S video product showcase that's coming out. He has to finish up he has to, the Nikon one is pretty extensive, and obviously it's going to be a big video because people always want to hear what I have to say about Nikon. So he's working hard to get it done. And when you look at our product previews, or what do we call the real world preview? Again, we don't call it review. Other websites will call it a review. You'll see. They'll call it initial review. If you put review in the title, you can't do an initial review on. You could call it an initial. I don't know. Can you call it initial review? Sure. It just feels like you're skirting. You're just aiming to get more views, because if you put review in it, you're going to get more views. It's a super gray area, but when you have a product for a certain amount of time, and this is in general, not speaking on just Nikon's products here, but you can't learn the ins and outs of it in a matter of a day and a half. Right? But you can give your initial thoughts. Like, we used to do product previews. Before camera companies would give us products early, we would have a preview of it. Or they would do a call and we could put out the specs. But as soon as we started doing trips, you couldn't just do specs anymore. We used to do that at Sony. Sony would bring us up to like New York or wherever, and they'd announce the product. We'd make notes, and we'd go back to the room. We'd put out a preview so that people could get our take on it before we used it, like giving them all the specs, and then we'd use it and we'd make another piece of content. So with the Nikon, Steven just has to get it done, and he will get it done in time for Monday, and we'll have it out into the world, and you'll know what I gotta say about that. Okay. So being that I'm flying solo today, you guys know that I was shipping out to Boston. We talked about my decision. Do I drive? Do I fly? Do I take the train? And I decided to fly because I felt that flying made the most sense. It was also economically more viable. It was like $230 or $240 with tax round trip on American from Philly to Boston. It was 58 minutes to come back. It was like an hour and 5 or 10 minutes to go there, and it was half the price of a train. The train was double the price, and it takes 6 hours. And driving takes 5.5 to 6 hours, and then it's $70 plus per parking a night at the hotel. I gotta tell you about this hotel. Should I tell you now, or should I tell you? I'm going to tell you now. You might need earmuffs. For this conversation. I stayed at a hotel that was right around the corner from Fenway Park, and I'll get into Fenway Park and my shooting and all of that. Most gorgeous stadium I've ever been in. By the way, it's just what an amazingly wow, what an awesome stadium. But I stayed at a place around the corner that it was like $460 or $480 a night before tax. You're talking 2 nights, $1,000. Is it worth it? No. Is anything ever worth it? No. But I'm like, I got to stay somewhere. I got to do this project. There weren't other rooms anywhere else that that were close, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it. And I just was like, fuck it. Just pay for it. This is part of the project. You got to spend some money. You got to put yourself out there. You got to go do this project. You got to stay somewhere. I probably could have stayed with someone. I didn't even think about who I could stay with. But then I don't want to be on someone else's time and worry about them and have them worry about me. Like, I just want to have my own space. Stay at this hotel. It's got a record player in every room, which is stupid. You can borrow records like a library. I hate albums. I think albums are stupid, as you guys know. And I'm not turning off anybody because you're not listening to this on a record. Could you imagine podcasts every week putting it out on vinyl? I'm sure someone's thinking about doing that because they're losers. Anyway, $500 a night. I check out this morning. I just got back from Boston this morning. And, I check out. I get my receipt. I look on it. And there was an added charge of $72. And I call them. I'm like, hi, what is this $72? Oh, well, when you checked in, that's a convenience fee, some bullshit like that. It's $500 a night to stay in your hotel. And you're telling me that this convenience fee consists of allowing me to swim in the swimming pool, having bottled water available, having coffee on tap? Like, really? You're going to charge an extra $72, an extra $36 a night for this? And then they have the balls to say, oh, when you checked in, you were told about that. I'm like, if I was told about that when I checked in, I would have been like, fuck you, take it off. I am not paying a bullshit fee on top of $500 a night because you want to give me fucking water bottles, or you want to say that I can use the pool, or that it included breakfast. How about just making people feel good? Interesting fact, when I was waiting to check into my room and I saw that they had water in a cooler for people in a fridge, and they had coffee, I was like, you know, for $500 a night, that's the right thing to do. Little did I know that I was going to run into this bullshit that they'd throw at you. So, of course, the person on the phone is like, well, you would have been told that. Everybody tells you that at check-in. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't told that. She's like, yeah, you would have been told that. I'm like, you don't know me. I'm an asshole, and I don't like paying, and you could probably see the title probably has something to do with tipping for this. I haven't finished the episode and made up the title, but it probably has something to do with tipping. I don't like inconvenience fees. So I'm like, no one said that. And if they did say something along the lines of that, then they would have disguised it in a way that didn't raise my hackles. I didn't know I thought they were cackles, but I think they're called hackles. It would have raised my assholeness, because I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You want to charge me an extra $36 a night? All I need is a place to stay. I'm going to go out and shoot all fucking day. All I'm doing here is sleeping. And I hate your record albums too. So they waived it. But I also emailed and I was like, what is this for? I emailed before I called from the car. And they're like, I'm going to pull up the emails. How about I pull up the emails, Jared? Let's pull up the emails here. Let's see. Emails. Here we go. The daily charges show on page 2 of your folio. That's our all access fee for 2 nights. It's $32 plus tax per night. What we covered at check-in. No, you didn't cover it in at check-in, Carly. You weren't there at check-in, Carly. It was Chris. The property fee that includes breakfast each morning, unlimited coffee, water, pool access, restaurant discounts, and records. Oh, fuck you! I didn't even read that the first time. Fuck your record selection. Fuck your record selection, Carly. I don't want anything to do with your stupid record. Please let us know if you have any questions. I replied back because that's what I do. Jared replies back. And Jared replied back with, that was not mentioned at check-in, or I would have had it waived right away. It's been removed, I called. Hi, Jared. It's not generally able to be waived upon request. This is a property fee that is included for every guest. If it's fucking included, Carly, then include it in the fucking $500 a night and just be like, everybody, look, it's included. You get records. You get unlimited coffee. Do you know how much fucking coffee I would drink for $36? None, because I don't drink coffee. I've never had a coffee in my life. I don't need fucking coffee, Carly. Fuck you, Carly. It keeps going. It's a property fee that included every guest who checks into our hotel. The person who checked you in, Chris, mentioned it. Oh, do you have a record of that, Carly? Carly, do you have a record of that? Do you have our interaction? Are you recording it? Because if you're recording it, please send it to me. Oh, but we waived it for you as a one-time courtesy. Fuck your courtesy, Carly. It's not a one-time courtesy to do the right thing. It wasn't mentioned to me. And if it was mentioned, it was hidden. It was hidden in the words that Chris would have used. Oh, all the taxes and fees are included. Oh, you probably said taxes and fees. And I'm supposed to be like, okay, what are all those fees? See, the thing here is, I have no problem bitching about this shit. I don't care. You want to write about Frono's photo, if they even know who the fuck I am. Probably don't know. But if they did and they wanted to critique me, I'm an asshole. I already know that. Everybody knows that. But when you have asshole fees like this, I'm going to tell you that it's an asshole fee. It's stupid. How many people do you think check into the hotel, don't even question this, get the fee and just like, oh, well, that's the fee? Not me. Not me. People are like, they're afraid of confrontation. You should include it in your damn fucking fee, Carly. Oh, it's a all access fee. Fuck it all, because it's like a Rockstar themed a hotel, and I took better photos than they had hanging in the hotel, by the way. It's bullshit. And it includes discounts. Oh, so now I'm paying for the right to have a discount at a restaurant in the surrounding areas. First off, I asked for suggestions on where to eat, and they were garbage. Garbage suggestions by the person at the front desk. It wasn't even Chris. I just don't like how people, like, you ask them for suggestions and they give you shit. I want a nice meal. I want a place that's a real restaurant that's not fast fucking food, not garbage. But no, they always want to send you to some fucking garbage place. And hey, let me just say that Steven's not on to temper me right now. So you're getting me. Steven would take the other side, on the other hand, and be like, when I go to Disney, I'm okay with all the fees at Disney. That's right. Steven is okay with all the fees, including the butt tax. That's right. When Mickey comes for your butt, you're going to give it to him. That's right.
That's right. I'm Goofy, and every time Goofy comes alive and Mickey comes, oh shit, he comes. Oh shit.
Oh, better get back on task. Steven's making a face. He's not, because he's not watching. Hopefully he doesn't listen to this. If Steven listens, he's going to probably try to cut this. Hey guys, if Steven cut this, I hope he doesn't cut it. I hope he doesn't cut it out. If he leaves it in, that's a good thing. He should leave it in. That's right, Jared. Mickey deserves what he gets. Yeah, Mickey gets what he wants. That's right, because Mickey can do what he wants. He's the mouse. You don't fuck with the mouse. You never fuck with the mouse. The mouse always gets his. Right in the boot. By the boot, I mean the car. Anyway, yeah, Carly, no, Carly. So, guys, you should definitely check your statements and bitch and complain. I bitch and complain all the time. I mean, yeah, it should be called Bitching and Complain, and should be my podcast. Like, beep, beep. Anyway, I'm like Mortimer and whatever the hell his name is. The guys that are like, oh, it was great. Oh, it was good. Oh, it was okay. I hated it. It was the worst thing ever. It's worse than AIDS. Well, I was going to say, is there anything... I'm not... Okay. Jared, get back on task here. So I stayed at the hotel. It was expensive. I got my fee waived. They never said to me that there's $36 a night fee for all access. Like I want 10% off a shitty restaurant. Why am I paying for the right for that? It's such bullshit. Include shit. Don't take shit away and add things. Speaking of adding things, I'm going to skip ahead because I'm not even going to talk about the baseball stuff yet. I'm going to talk about Fenway Park food. The food was good. I had a lobster roll, right? Okay, so I didn't like the food upstairs in the press area. It was Taco Tuesday, and these were some sorry ass tacos. Philly at least has a much better food scene in their stadium for press. This was garbage. So I saw there were going to be lobster rolls. I get in line. They got two options. They got chowder but in terms of rolls, they've got a crab roll and they got lobster roll. Crab roll is $18. Lobster roll is $38. So what do? I get one of each, and it comes with a bag of chips. Technically 2 bags of chips, which they didn't give me on the first night. I didn't complain because I got, I figured each roll comes with the chips. They only gave me 1 bag. Not that I'm going to eat it all, but it's the moral of the story. The insane thing is, so I spent $58, $59 on this, which is fine. They were really good. I enjoyed it, and it was good because I needed food to eat. The thing is, when I'm checking out, you pay, you tap your card because they don't take cash, which is totally fine. And he's like, there's 3 buttons for tips. There's nothing that says no tip. There's 3 buttons that say tip. And it's probably like, I think it was like 15%, 20%, maybe 25%. I don't remember what all 3 of them were. But I'm like, which one is no tip? So I physically have to ask which one is no tip, and that's the red button, the asshole button, of which we already have established that I'm an asshole. But you're not an asshole. There is no reason for you to tip the people that are doing their job. Their job is to give me my lobster roll and that's their job. Their job is to make the roll. I walk into the line. I say, I'll have a lobster roll and I'll have a crab roll, please. That will be $59. Thank you. Doop. Would you like to leave a tip? No, I don't want to leave a tip for you doing your job. That is bullshit. Then the next person in line hits the button in the middle because they don't want to feel or seem like they are like whatever, not into tipping. It's bullshit. They try to do this. That's $12 if you do a 20% tip. That's $12 for someone to ring you up and hand you your lobster fucking roll. Now, before anybody yells at me and tries to leave a comment and say Jared doesn't like tipping, that's not the case. I leave 20 to 25%, even if the fucking service sucks anymore, because it's just like, whatever. That's what you're gonna do. Oh my god. I just thought of something else. Oh my god. I'm writing it down so I don't forget. This is something else I need to yell at. And I hope you're okay with this because you might agree. When it comes to restaurants and tipping, I do not tip on tax. I know restaurant people, they're like, you should tip on tax. Why? I'm not tipping on tax. That has nothing to do with the service. And I'm going to tip 20 to 25% anyway at this point, even if I'm not going to stiff someone, especially if the kitchen fucked up. Who cares? These people are working, they're making no money. I'm going to tip, but I'm not tipping on tax. It's just the principle of the matter. I will tip for my meal. What I will do, though, is sometimes I leave 50% tip or 100% tip if it's like breakfast. If you go to Waffle House and it's like $12.23, I'm handing them $20 and telling them to keep the change. I just can't I can't have a meal for $12. I just can't do it. I gotta leave a bigger tip, especially when it comes to breakfast or a lunch at a small restaurant or a diner. I'm leaving bigger tips at those places. Now, when it comes to, I go to Morimoto, you're going to get 20%, but also I do slip the main sushi chef guy a 20 or a 50 or 100 from times to times, and because they give you a lot of extra appetizers every time I go in, so that adds up. So I'm always slipping him like $50 under the table, which is you're okay. You like tip the guy, but I'm good with that. What I'm not good with, 3% back of house fee added to the end of my check on top of everything else. Oh, yeah. The 3% back of house fee is added so that we can pay our kitchen staff more money. Oh, well, you're not paying your kitchen staff more money. You're asking me to pay your kitchen staff more money. Do you know what is better than adding 3% fee? Raise your fucking prices and pay your people a living wage. And then say it's all included. Like, why do I need to be guilted? And it's automatically there. And when you question it, they're like, oh, would you like me to take it off? No, I don't think it should be there. Or you should pay your employees more. Oh, well, that would mean that we have to raise the price. Yeah, so raise your fucking prices. Don't ever skimp on product. Don't charge me more for less. Charge me more for the same amount that I used to get. If prices go up and your quality remains the same, I will pay for it. I know not everybody can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Oh, speaking of doing it, I forgot to mention, I did add a second boot camp. It's on July 27th. It's a Saturday. It's 2 weeks after the first one that sold out in 3 days. I have not pushed this yet beyond the people who were interested and sent me emails. So I'm officially announcing it here. Then I'll send a text message and everything like that at some point. But I am doing another boot camp. You can go to bit.ly/July 27 Fro, and that's the number 27 and FRO. I'll put it in the description for the show as well. It's bit.ly/July 27 Fro. It's $1,000. It's a 9 to 5. It's all day. It's at least 8 hours, and it's also including. See, I'm not adding, being like, oh, I'm going to charge you more for something. No, I'm including in the price the mentorship call, the 45-minute mentorship call. You can use that after our boot camp anytime in the next year so that we can have like a follow-up to help you. That's included. That's a $250 value. That's included, okay? It's not added on top, and it's not a 3%. Should I expect a tip after charging people $1,000? The answer to that is no. I'm not going to accept tips. But please, I mean, if you'd like to sign up, go ahead and do so you don't miss out. If you missed out on the first one, this is 2 weeks later on a Saturday. It's probably the last one I'm going to do in Philly for a long time, or I might take it on the road. I don't know, but as of now, I'm going to do those two because August, September, October gets really busy, so I'm probably not going to be doing another one this year. I don't know for a fact, so don't hold me to it, but back to 3% back of house fee, that is just such garbage and bullshit and should not be added. Now, let's turn this into a little bit of a photo flare thing. Should a wedding photographer or should a photographer be tipped at an event? As you know, I'm not a big fan of tipping for people doing their job. When people would hand me tip money for shooting a wedding, I'd be like, why are you handing me money? This is unnecessary because you paid me to do my job, and I don't want a tip for doing my job. Now, if you want to, that's fine. If you feel that I did a good job, but you haven't seen my pictures yet. So I don't feel you should be tipping the photographer honestly at all. And I know people are like, but what about the employees, like your assistants? I'm like, no. They're getting paid well to do their job, and I don't believe that they should be expecting a tip, and I don't think that a tip should be always given or for everything at a wedding. I don't think you need to tip anybody out. I just don't believe that. I just feel like you're paying. I did a private party, my birthday party last year at my house. I had a personal chef come and cook for 40 people, and it was awesome. And he gave me his price, X amount of dollars per head. And at the end of the night, he was standing there expecting a tip, and I felt obligated. I'm like, dude, this isn't a restaurant. I'm like, why didn't you just include it in the fucking per head? If you added $10 per head, that would have been $400 extra dollars that I would have paid and felt fine with, because you're like, it's $80. Everything's included. I come, I clean, I have a helper. It's including tip. It's including everything. Why wait till the end of the night when I pay you $4,000 fucking dollars to cook this thing for 40 people? So maybe it was like $100 a head. I don't know what it was. And now you want me to give you a tip on top of that? You're the owner of the business. You made the price up. Just tell me the price flat and just tell me it includes everything. Don't give me this bullshit at the end of the night that I should still give 20% on top. Fuck you. I'm not doing it. Nah, that doesn't make me an asshole. Now, if you want to tell me I'm an asshole, you can leave it down below in the comments. I wouldn't say asshole in the comments because YouTube will probably block you. Well, the point I'm trying to make here is I'm looking for the phone number, and I never can seem to find the phone number anymore. I found it. 313-710-9729. You can text me and call me an asshole. And I know I'm not an asshole. Anyway, let's move on to Fenway Park and shooting. Fenway Park was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in terms of baseball fields. What an unbelievably gorgeous ballpark. I mean, yes, it's the oldest ballpark in all of baseball, not counting Rickwood, who's a minor league team, which has which has a baseball game coming up soon. But it was beautiful. So let me take you back to the airplane. People always want to know, did I have any problems with my film? I have the lead bag, and my lead bag needed to get thrown through the scanner again, but I did take the film out, and I said, I need a hand check. The TSA guy had no idea about film and scanners. I know there's a YouTube video that a woman did. I don't remember. Someone sent it to me. I don't remember the name, but she tested hundreds of rolls, and I don't know that it was really affected, but there is a possibility that you could get fogged or scan lines. So I asked to be hand checked. Wasn't a problem at all. Said, please don't open it. Just swab it. Do your thing. No problem. Getting on the plane, had my roller bag, my backpack, and attached to the handle of the roller bag, I had my darkroom box that pops up. It looks like one of those expo discs that pop open, but a little smaller. And I had that around my bag just because, how many times have you seen flight attendants where they've got their bag and then they've got a hook on it for another bag? So I didn't have a problem getting on the plane. Didn't have a problem getting it up above. I also had my tripod. Not a problem. So everything was good that I know of for flying there. Fit in the overhead compartment. No one gave me shit. Now on the way home today, I getting onto the plane, and the gate agent was like, you're going to need to consolidate. And I'm like, she's like, you have 3 bags. I'm like, no, I have two bags. I've got my backpack and I have this roller bag. And she's like, well, and you have this bag. I'm like, my darkroom bag that's flat, that is attached to this bag that takes up no space. She's like, can you consolidate? And I stopped for a second and I said, I have camera equipment and lithium ion batteries, which technically, usually it's lithium ion batteries. Well, I did have a big battery for, my charger for a USB-C thing, but as soon as I said lithium ion batteries, she was like, oh, like it wasn't like a gotcha, but she was just like, oh, and I just walked. It's like, this is a flat thing. This isn't a bag. This is a darkroom box that's flat. It's less than, it's like half of an inch thick. It's going to go in flat. It doesn't take up space. So I didn't have a problem. I got it on the plane and everything was good to go. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back to Fenway. I go to the stadium. I get in, no problems getting in. I got there early, like 1 o'clock. The game's at 7 o'clock. I want to get the lay of the land. I got to tell you this though. And this is related to this story, is I had to load the film because I didn't want to travel with film already loaded because you still have to scan it. So in my hotel room, when I finally got a hotel room, when I was able to check in, I made everything dark in the room, even though you don't really need to. Hopefully, like the dark box shouldn't have a hole in it, the dark bag. And I had 14 holders. So you get 2 sheets in a holder. That's 28 pieces of film. So I took 7 of them, 7 holders, put it in the bag, whatever, along with the film I was going to use. And then I have to individually load each one. And then I have to do that again, and it gets hot. And then your eye itches and your nose itches, and you can't itch it because your arms have to be inside this box because everything's light sensitive. So it's just so much easier to do at home when you have a dark room area that's bigger and your arms aren't flailed out to the side like they are in this box. It was just not a comfortable position to be in for the 20 minutes it took, 30 minutes it took me to do all of them. It was kind of a pain in the ass, but that's what you got to do. Then you have to think, okay, I only have 28 shots. Am I going to change shot, like after I take pictures, am I going to unload film to then reload more film during the game? And I chose not to do that. But I got over to the stadium early, 7 hours early, took a walk around, went down on the field. Some of the players, I went into the green monster. It's the green monster. I went inside. I got a cool photo from inside from the hole that's in the monster. It's open so the crew can look out. And I got Fenway Park in focus up above, perfectly framed. I did 2 shots. I did one with the tilt shift and one without the tilt shift. But that was pretty cool, being inside the actual green monster. What a beautiful field. Some of the players were out super early, going in there to sign the green monster. So that was cool. And on the other hand, some of the players were out on the field, so I got some cool pictures out there. It's I mean, obviously, 4x5 is difficult. It's tough to get batting practice, but I will tell you the best photos, hopefully, from the first night were the 8 minutes from the national anthem to the first pitch. For whatever reason, there just seemed to be things that happened quickly. Nick Castellanos had his leg up on the top step coming out of the dugout, and he just has this awesome look. So I made sure that I banged off 2 shots there because I wanted to look. You can't be fully selective sometimes. You want to make sure, if he moves slightly, you want to make sure you got it right. So I took 2. Hopefully they're both spot on, and then I have to choose one. But I wanted to do two shots like that quickly. I think my settings were right. I don't know. There were a few times where my settings were off, like I light metered for 1/125th of a second and not 1/500, or and then shot at 1/500th because I'm trained to do it 4 times. Turn the shutter knob, but I think we should be good. Those are hopefully really good photos. They're very old school because Boston, everybody played here. Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, all the greats of all time played in this. Wade Boggs, Bill Buckner, for all those people who are Bill Buckner fans for booting that ball. It's, you're looking for those classic shots. Got a couple pictures of the monster. I took 24 shots, I believe, the first game. I also walked 17,000 steps. From what I'm told is that the stadium covers 4 city blocks. It's a small, pretty small footprint, but it's massive, and it's like I've said a million times, it is beautiful. So I tried to get some wider shots at the stadium with the wide angle lens. We'll see how they turned out. That's an f8, so I had to go underneath the dark cloth to try and get the shots. Didn't really go for a lot of the action stuff because with the Aero Ektar, the 50 millimeter, it was much tougher to shoot because if I'm focused on just a subject, then you kind of lose out on the fact that this is a historic venue, and you lose out on the fact you don't see the venue. And I think that's important to see the stadium and the things that make the stadium unique, like the not the foul poles, the light poles, the Fenway Park sign up above home plate in the press box area, the green monster, of course, the seats. I took a picture of one of the old seats that are from the 1930s that are still in use today. So I went around the stadium looking for some of that stuff. I didn't do a good job finding all of it. I just got the second night I was just out. I had enough. Like I canceled going to Baltimore tomorrow because I want to develop the 50 sheets or however many I have, and I don't want to get so far behind that it becomes overwhelming and baseball becomes monotonous. I want to see what I got, but I did get during batting practice, Kyle Schwarber was there. I had this really cool setup where I had the green monster in the background. I had two light poles, one on the left, one on the right, set up perfectly. But Schwarber was taking batting practice, and I wanted to get some BP stuff because I don't have any guys swinging. And I was waiting for the follow-through to happen, kind of Babe Ruth style. But I shot it pretty tight, so the thing is you won't really know that it's Fenway because there was really no way to compose that because the batting cages today are different than the batting cages they used back in the day. Back in the day, they literally just had like a top cage and a back cage. It didn't have the side. Now it's all sides, so you don't get killed by a foul ball or something, or during batting practice. But so the thing is, I had the perfect setup. Then I broke it down to get this of Schwarber, and then I went and set it up again. And when Kyle was about to go in, I was like, Kyle, do you mind standing in for a picture? And he did. I can never tell if he's like upset. He's very quiet, but he wasn't upset. He was amenable. He's like, that's going to be a cool one. I hope it is, because I kind of rushed to get the setup again, and I should have had him lean on the bat instead of holding it and look right at me. I should have just had him lean on the side. Now he's not in full uniform. Should have had him do like a Babe Ruth lean, and then whatever. It hopefully is good. I got Nick Castellanos with his son. They were doing batting practice. There's some things that I'm hopeful for. Some wide angles of the stadium. I'm interested to see what I got. So not super anxious. But I also put the Insta360 Go 3S, which is the new camera that I talked about earlier. I think I forgot to talk about the camera. Anyway, it's just the little camera that you put on your forehead. I put it on my forehead. You should check out the product showcase that we did, because I show you batting practice. It was awesome. I put it right behind the cage. Oh, that was so cool to see them batting and see them hitting. That was super cool. You don't get a look at that. So I like this camera because I like having a forehead camera on to document what I'm seeing. I also like having the 360 from Insta360 with me, but I didn't take that this time because it would have been too much of a pain in the ass to take around and carry and do all the shooting. One of the challenges, and anyway, with the Go 3 was great to use. If you're looking for the highest quality from Insta360, the Ace Pro is more of a action camera that's bigger. That's going to give you a larger sensor. The Go 3S is good for what it is, which is showing you your field of view. It's like a body cam. I like it for that. You get like 32 minutes of charge on it. I wish you got like an hour of charge, but it's pretty small. It's like a pill. It's like the size of a thumb. It really is actually a size of a thumb. So there's that. Oh yeah, the second day I tried to get to the stadium. I got to the stadium at 8 in the morning because I could walk right over. I wanted to get a shot on the field of it empty, but it wasn't empty, so I couldn't do it. And when I came back at 10 o'clock, they had the batting cage out, which it shouldn't have been out already, but it was, so I couldn't get on the field to get one of those wider shots. So that didn't happen. All in all, I'm happy with what I think I got. So it's just a matter of finding out whether or not I got it or not, and that's just a matter of getting stuff developed and processed. So if you ever get an opportunity to go to Fenway Park, I do highly recommend it. It is exquisite as a baseball stadium, and I'm not wowed I mean, I'm not wowed, but I can admit that there's no reason not to say it. It is a unbelievable ballpark. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. What sight lines? It's like you're right in the action. There's not a lot of foul territory. It's just fantastic. So if you ever get a chance to go there, go ahead and do that. On to another piece of photo news. Canon announced some new VR lenses. There was like a 7.9 millimeter and a 3.9 millimeter. One of them is stereoscopic or meant for, it actually has autofocus. It's to be used with Apple Vision Pro. I got an Apple Vision Pro. I haven't used it in 4 months. But with the updates that are coming to the Apple Vision Pro, I'm still not going to use it, by the way. I'll use it when I travel on long flights. Like if I got to travel across the country, it's definitely worth it to watch a movie on there. I will do that. Hopefully I don't get dizzy. I did fly long flight with it before and I didn't get dizzy, but I could see how that could happen. But it was awesome. Oh man, was that thing fun to wear to watch a movie. Oh God, that was good. Anyway, it's not about that, but I don't know people that are actually making VR content. No one has viewers to view it, and I don't think anybody is really doing it. I do the 360 with the Insta360 ONE RS, but we don't do it in VR style. We do it in regular, and we move the camera for you. So Canon came out with these lenses. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll take it. I got to see how wide it is, but I'll when I go back to Kenya in December, I will potentially take one of these lenses, which means I would need to take an R7 because that's what it's meant for. But maybe I'll just attach it to the car, the vehicle, and we'll get stereoscopic content that way if we get close to anything, which we tend to get close. So that would kind of be cool. And maybe I'll get paid to make some content. I don't know. That would be interesting. So the Z6, is coming out. Like I said, I can't tell you anything. They don't let us tell you anything. I don't know. I mean, I get why. Like, why don't you just announce it 7 days? Why do you have a teaser for 7 days from now? Like, I don't get it. Actually, I think I do get it. You know what happened probably? B&H and Adorama were all closed the day that the teaser dropped. So they probably were like, yeah, we're going to drop it on this day. And then B&H was like, yeah, it's some special Jewish holiday that no one even cares about. And they're like, so we're off all week. I don't even know. I'm not even going to look up what holiday it was because it doesn't matter. So that might be the reason why they went ahead and did that and gave it a teaser and said on June 17th it will be coming. So our video will be out June 17th along with whoever else had the camera. I'm sure the normal people that always have it will have it, and you'll get our take on it. We take you inside the camera and show you how good it was or how bad it was, because that's what we do. We give you the best of the best with honor, sir, and I don't want anybody to forget that. I know I don't need to spike the football, but that's how I feel. I feel like these videos are meant to be long and meant to be detailed, and not just cursory and honest. There's only, you know what's so stupid? When people put up, I know I go into this all the time, but when you look at YouTube and they're like, an honest review of, like, what is every other review dishonest that you do? I just think it's stupid to put honest review in your title, because I wouldn't expect you to give me your dishonest review. And if you do, you're an asshole. What was that girl's name? Carly from earlier? Hashtag Carly. Carly doesn't know. Shame on you, Carly. Shame on you, Carly. I got a question here I've been trying to bring up in the last couple of episodes, but we've got a question, and it says hands up emoji. It doesn't say that, it just shows it. So a place we stayed at, this was a friend of mine who takes some pictures, a lot of analog stuff, and she was traveling overseas. She goes, a place we stayed at just asked if they could have my film photos I posted of their property. I'm not sure how to respond since I paid to have them developed, and not sure how they would use them, and didn't offer any money or perks. I'm like, well, the first thing you do is you reply back and say, thank you, glad you like the photos. How are you going to be using these photos? What are you offering me for these photos, right? Like, don't just expect that I'm going to give them to you for social media. And if you're a hotel in Italy or something, and I don't know if I'm ever going back, but you should be like, hey, if you ever come back, we'll hook you up for a night, right? Knowing very well that you're probably never coming back. But if you do, it's the price of doing business. You like the photos. Oh, you could ask, do they have a budget, right? But you should reply back with, hi, I'd love to work something out with you. What did you have in mind? How do you want to use them? Are you using them on social media? Are you using them to promote your business, which is kind of social media? So I do expect something in return. And so that's where I would start at that point, is I would expect them to want them for nothing, and then to be like, well, we need to work something out. You could either pay me for them because you paid for all the processing and the travel, or you could offer me some kind of perk in the future. And if I ever do come back, we'll give you a night. That's fine. But if not, no, you could say no to that. You could totally say no to that. There's no reason to say yes to everything, especially you're not missing out on something if someone isn't going to pay you. Now, I'm not saying you need to get paid for everything. I've said this all before, is that sometimes you need to put yourself into situations to be successful. In this case, they're not doing that. If they were like, hey, would you like to come back and photograph again? We will cover your hotel stay, and then you can add up the math and be like, oh, that's like $2,000 in hotel stays. And you're like, all right, cover my flight and a 4-night stay, and we're all good. We'll call it even, right? Something like that. And that might be less expensive than what you would get paid normally. So you just got to look for angles that are beneficial to you and also mutually beneficial, but you can't just be like, oh, well, we have no money, and then worry that you should be doing it for them, right? Just because they have no money and they cried poor, which is a lot of photographers. A lot of times we do that. Sometimes we're like, well, I do. Okay, fine, I'll shoot it, even though they don't have a lot of money. So I don't care about that. I think that's what I got to say. All in all, I'm happy with what I said in Boston. I talked a lot here. I know that. I know I complain, but you should never tip. You should never tip on tax, and you should never tip. See, I went to another place. It was like a salad place. Did I say this earlier? I don't remember if I said it earlier. I'll just say it one more time. I went to check out, and I had 3 options at the top, and then there was a red button, and I'm like, which one is no tip? And I hit the red button. He's like, you just canceled the entire thing. I'm like, and? I'm like, why is this so complicated? I just want to pay for my food. You literally just made my salad. That's your job. That's what you're getting paid money for. I shouldn't have to give you more money or have the expectation of... I don't want to get angry again. I've had enough, guys. This is episode 106. Thank you, Steven, for editing the videos while you're doing it. Steven will be back on next week, and then he's going on vacation the week after that, so maybe I'll have a guest host on, but we definitely had to get that. Steven couldn't spend a half a day and lose out because he has to get that Nikon video done so we can tell you what we think of that camera as soon as it's ready. That's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.